Good morning. Today we will discuss about the remaining topic of research methodology, scientific documentation. What is a document? The term document has multiple meanings in ordinary language and in scholarship. In the case of a document, it will be a written document, purpose, a writing that provides information, especially information of an official nature. That is one meaning of document. In another way, document, anything serving as a representation of a person's thinking by means of symbolic marks such as equations or in the form of theorems, etc. Coming to scientific documentation. What is meant by a scientific document? A scientific document is a set of documents provided on paper or online or on digital or analog media in the form of such as audio tape, CDs, etc. Examples such as user guides. User guides means taxonomic keys is an example of user guides. Or a document is in the form of online help. Sometimes it is in the form of quick reference guides. That is, a book is in the form of a document that contains information in the form of quick reference, such as in case of zoological document, the quick reference guides is a taxonomic key. It will that include pictures, diagrams, or key features of organisms, etc. Documentation is often distributed through websites, software products, and other online applications. Then coming to a report. What is a report? A report is a self-explanatory statement of facts relating to a specific subject and serve the purpose of providing information for decision making and follow-up actions. That is a report. Or it is a systematic presentation of ascertained facts about specific event or a subject. A report is a systematic presentation of an event or a subject or a research. A report, in other way, is a summary of findings and a recommendation about a particular matter or a problem. That means, in a research, a person have to write the summary of his findings in the form of a report. Then coming to types of reports. There are two types of reports. One is technical report and another one is popular report. Coming to technical report, it is suitable for a target audience such as researchers, research managers or officials, or other people familiar with and interested in the techniques such as research design, sampling methods, statistical details, etc. are included in that report. That type of report is called technical report. Then another report is called popular report. It is suitable for more general audience interested mainly in the research findings, as it is non-technical in nature, because it is written for the common or general audience. The writing style is designed to facilitate easy and rapid reading and understanding of the research findings and recommendations. It is mainly focused towards the general audience or the common people. That is the second type of report, what is called popular report. Then coming to characteristics of a report. There are different characteristics. It has a specific length, that is one characteristic. Another one, it has a specific style, specific format, and sources. These are the main characteristics of a technical or research report. It has a prescribed length, it has a prescribed style, it has a prescribed format, and sources. The length of the research work defines the number of needed source to analyze, or the number of paper needed to summarize the work. Then the style must be formal and covers the impersonal and inclusive language. The style must be different in the case of technical report, and it is more precisely arranged to analyze or to read or to understand the technical papers, such as researchers, research managers, or other scientists. Then the style of a popular report is very much in the form of a style that is understood by the common people. It is the language used for popular report is very simple, and it is focused towards the general public or general audience or the common people. Then coming to report writing. Report writing is very helpful for making the record of documentation. With the help of reports, we can easily recognize our work. Report writing helps us a path to solve problems. Writing a report guides you in a way to modernize details about improvements and upcoming plans. It is considered as a major component of research study, for the research task remain incomplete till the report has been presented or written. That is the main point. It remains incomplete till the report has been presented. As a matter of fact, even the most brilliant hypothesis highly well designed and conducted research study, and most striking generalization and findings are of little value unless they are effectively communicated to others. That is another point you should remain, is that the most brilliant hypothesis, highly well designed and conducted research study, the most striking generalization and findings are of little value unless they are effectively communicated. So, a report writing is very important to communicate your ideas, your findings to convey. The purpose of research is not well served unless the findings are made known to others. That is another point. The purpose of research is not well served unless the findings are made known to others. Okay, coming to research paper. It is an academic paper. It is also called a scholarly paper. It is published in academic journals, and it contains original research result, or reviews existing result. It should be published in academic journals, or in conferences, or in proceedings, or in monthly or annually published books. We can present or we can write a research paper. Then thesis and dissertations are documents. There are another documents submitted in support of a candidature for a degree or professional qualification, presenting the author's research and findings. And it is used, the thesis and dissertation is another type of a report, or it is a document submitted by a candidate for acquiring their professional qualification. All these have earlier said format. Then coming to structure of a research paper. This is one of my research paper that is published in International Journal of Science and Research in 2005. This paper, I like to explain the structure. Coming to the structure, the first portion is the abstract. An abstract summarizes usually in one paragraph. This is one paragraph. Nearly 300 words or less. The major aspect of entire paper in a prescribed sequence. The entire aspects or the contents are prescribed by sequence in the abstract. It includes the overall purpose of the study and research problem or problems you investigated. The abstract contains the overall purpose of the study and research problem or problems a researcher investigated. Then the basic design of the study. The abstract contains the basic design of the study. Then the major findings or trends found as a result of your analysis or the researcher's analysis. Then in the abstract contains a brief summary of the researcher's interpretation and conclusions. All these things are come under abstract. All these things are included in the abstract, and it have a nearly 300 or less words. Then next, the introduction. Introduction is the second main content, main part of the research paper. It is the first paragraph of a written research paper, or the first thing you say in an oral presentation, or the first thing people see, hear, or experience about your work, your project, or your research. The introduction leads the reader from a general subject area to a particular topic of inquiry. The introduction leads the reader from a general subject area to a particular topic of inquiry. It establishes the scope, context, and significance of research being conducted by summarizing current understanding and background information about the topic. Then stating the purpose of the work in the form of the research problem supported by a hypothesis or a set of questions. All these things are included in the first part of or first portion of the introduction. Then in introduction, it explaining briefly the methodological approaches used to examine the research problem. The introduction also contain, or it explaining briefly the methodological approach that you used to examine the research problem. Then highlighting the potential outcomes of your study. It can reveal and outlining the remaining structure and organization of the paper. All these things are included in a brief form in the form of introduction. The introduction has two parts. Mainly it has two parts. A general introduction to the topic you will be discussing. That is the first part of the introduction. The general introduction to the topic you will be discussing. Then the second part, your thesis statement, your statement about the problem. These two things are the major content of the introduction. Then the next part is materials and methods or methodology. Materials and methods or methodology covers explanations of research designs. Methodology is the explanation of your research designs. Means techniques for gathering information and other aspects related to experiments must be described in research paper. Techniques means the scientific techniques you used to gather information in a research should be properly or described in this methodology part. For instance, students and scholars document all specialized materials and general procedures. In the case of a water quality study, what are the materials and methods used to conduct a study will prescribed or effectively communicated in a PHA. That is a book used mainly for conducting freshwater water quality studies. In this book, different types of methodology are included and the procedures are included in detail. In this case, individuals may use some or all the methods in further studies or judge the scientific merit of the work. In your explanation or in your methodology part, the reading persons or the individuals use some part or all of the methods you follow used for further studies or judge the scientific merit of the work, your work. So the methodology part is very important of a research work. Moreover, scientists should explain how they are going to conduct their experiment. The process of experiments or the conducting of experiment is well defined in methodology part. Next, result. It is the third portion of the research paper. Results portion, sometimes result and discussion is commonly or it is found together in some research journals. Some research journals, result separate and discussion part is separate. Result is a self-explanatory manner, states the result of experiment or work carried out. Depending on the work, result may be mixed with the discussion. I earlier said that in some journals, the result and discussion part mixed. It has a one part and called result and discussion part. Result section can also be split into several parts, forming distinct parts of a paper. The result section, depending upon the research work, the research section can be split into several parts. Means, in the case of an ecological study or pollution study or biodiversity study, you can split the result. The water quality is one part of a result. Then the diversity study is included in an ecological study. It is another part. In the case of pollution, that is included in an ecological study, the pollution statement or pollution results are separated another. So depending upon the research work that a person carried out, it can be split into different parts. For example, one section may discuss experimental findings while other looks at computer models to support this. Experimental findings means you can explain your findings through the writing part and explain the finding through computer models, means through graphical representation using diagrams such as bar diagrams, pie diagrams, or you can using statistical tools such as correlations. ANOVA results can be used to explain your result. Then coming to discussion, it is the fourth part of the research paper. This is a format of a discussion. You can see that the discussion part is summarize the informations about your about the research work. The purpose of the discussion is to interpret and describe the significance of researchers' findings in light of what was already known about a research problem being investigated. In discussion part, a researcher discusses about his findings with others' findings, that is published or research will be carried out earlier. These findings are published in the form of research papers that can be used to discuss your findings. That is what is called discussion part. Discussion is to interpret your result or compare your result with others' findings. Those findings are already published in reputed journals or reputed books, conferences or proceedings. You can discuss your result with others or compare your result with others and explain your interpretations. That is called discussion. Then the another part is conclusion. Conclusion sometimes in some purpose a concluded part is included. Conclusion is the findings you are abstracted earlier in the form of abstract. In conclusions, the observations are concluded, the results are concluded, and your recommendations are concluded in a form. You can simply read through the conclusions. You can easily find out the findings of the researcher's research work. The conclusion containing the abstracted information of the entire research work or entire project work. That is the next stage of the research paper. Then the sixth part is the acknowledgements. Acknowledgements enable you to thank all those who have helped in carrying out the research work. To thank all those who have helped to carrying out the research work, include technical staff or other academics who may have discussed or suggested the improvements but directly not participate in the research. In this acknowledgement, the part is write like this: the authors thank the professor and head of the Department of Environment Science, University of Kerala, in such a way that you can write the acknowledgement. This is the last part of the research paper, references. Sometimes it is called bibliography. Reference is the means throughout the paper any statement will be backed up with notes to additional literature. Usually the reference is added or stated towards the end of the paper. Sometimes in some research work, in the case of literature research, the reference are added in the form of footnotes. or in the bottom of the page. It is very much help to read without flicking the back page of the paper in each time. Usually the references are used for discussing your result. Earlier I said that in discussion part of the paper, you discuss or a researcher discuss his or her findings with others' findings, or compare his own findings with some other researchers' findings that is published earlier, or it is published in journals, books, proceedings, conferences. These discussed papers are, or the citations are, noted in the form of references. We can see that I included 5 references. The 5th one is the Journal of Biophysics. It is an Indian journal. Then this is another journal. This is another international journal. This is another one. In such a way, a reference is added in a research paper. A reference in compare with the different journals. A reference have different formats. In this case, the year is included at the end portion of the reference section. In some journals, this year part is added after the name of the authors. Then the style of the written style of the reference also different in case of the journal's format. All other things are same in most of the research papers. These all about scientific documentation. If you have any doubt, please discuss with me. Hope you are very well. Thank you for sharing sometimes with me. Thank you.